Today I'm going to talk about Nyūwa. Nyūwa. Nyūwa is the quality of being gentle and harmonious. Nyūwa. So this is a phrase that comes from the Lotus Sutra, from the Universal Gateway chapter of the Lotus Sutra. In the Soto Zen morning service, we chant the Universal Gateway chapter of the Lotus Sutra every morning. Here in the United States, I chant it in English, sometimes Japanese. In Japan, I chant it in Japanese every day. And yet, this past weekend, I heard a talk by Unno Roshi, who's a teacher who goes around teaching about Sotoshu, or Soto Zen, in which he talked about Nyūwa. And I realized I had never paid particular attention to that phrase before. We think we know something, and when we look deeply, we find there's more to learn. So I took the opportunity to look it up in English and in Japanese, to look at the context, to break it down, to contemplate it, and to think of it in the light of our current world and in the light of this week. This week at the temple, we've been discussing the precept, I vow not to give way to anger. This is a great counter for that. Nyūwa, gentle and harmonious. Gentle and harmonious. So here's the part of the Lotus Sutra that I just breezed through every morning, saying, I got it. Keep going. But those who practice virtuous deeds are gentle, upright, and sincere. These all see that I exist, abiding here, proclaiming Dharma. So this is the teachings of the Buddha through the Lotus Sutra. Those who practice virtuous deeds are gentle, upright, and sincere. So there's more to this phrase than Nyūwa, which is gentle and harmonious. There's also the upright and sincere. So it keeps going. A person who is Nyūwa, Shitsujikisha. Gentle, harmonious, with an honest or sincere nature. And the word honest and sincere can also mean frank or direct. And I appreciated this nuance in relation to this week's discussions and teachings on anger. Nyūwa, gentle and harmonious. Unno Roshi used an example of a woman who's had lost her entire family in the bombing of Nagasaki. He'd had the opportunity to meet her and hear her story, and was of course touched by her story, which is a very tragic story, but also equally touched by her response to the terrible things that had happened to her. She experienced the bomb herself. Immediately after the bomb, this is a condensed version of the story, she lost her younger brother. She also lost her sister, her mother, and her father to effects of the radiation. And more so, she felt personal responsibility for the deaths of her younger brother and sister because they had been outside of Nagasaki, and she had missed them so much. When she went to visit them, she brought them back with her. There's a lot more to the story, but you can see easily that she had a lot of reasons to feel anger, sadness, maybe more than anger, fury, despair. And at some point, she made the decision that she wasn't going to hold on to it. Maybe it was when her mother died of the effects of the radiation, and they let go of their mutual blame and sadness for the responsibility of the deaths of the two younger children. At least that was a step when they came into harmony again. Regardless, this woman made the decision, a conscious decision, not to harbor ill will, not to hold on. When this week we talked about anger, we noted that anger is part of the human experience. We all experience anger. The precept, the 9th precept, is I vow not to hold on. I vow not to harbor ill will. So it's when we hold it that it becomes a problem. But how do we let go of it in a way that's gentle and harmonious? So here's the challenge of these words. How do we handle each situation in a way that's both gentle and harmonious, and also with a direct nature, directly approaching it? So this is the koan of this phrase when you dig into it, rather than breeze over it. And I was thinking of these two Chinese characters. What a doorway they've been for me this week in terms of deeper understanding, and how these doorways exist everywhere in our life. When we find these little doorways and we open them, and then we go through, we can find so much to learn when we're open to learning. This is our practice. So I'm going to start off. Nyūwa, she shared a message that came from Zenji-sama, or the head of Soto Zen in Japan. And then he used this message as a jumping off point to talk about being gentle and harmonious. So I'll share that with you first. The various problems facing the world today, and these are Zenji-sama's words, the various problems facing the world today are complex and layered. It's not an exaggeration to say that the crisis threatening basic human rights, such as the right to live in peace and the dignity of life, is only growing. The crisis threatening human rights, such as the right to live in peace and the dignity of life, is only growing. As followers of Shakyamuni Buddha and two founders of Soto Zen Buddhism, Dogen Zenji and Keizan Zenji, we must know the sure path to follow. Shakyamuni Buddha taught us about the interconnectedness of all things. And through his wisdom, he observed things correctly. He demonstrated with his own life that harmony with others is achieved through compassion. This is a place that I explored more. What is it to demonstrate with our own life that harmony is achieved through compassion? We get that we want all beings to live with dignity and in peace, that all beings deserve to live with dignity and in peace. How then do we enact that peace through the way that we meet each situation? How do we demonstrate that with our own life, that harmony is achieved through compassion? It must start with our Zazen practice. It must start by following our breath, letting go of our thoughts, and letting go of self-cherishing, of our ego. Because compassion with me in the middle is not true compassion. Compassion with anger in the middle is not true compassion. So to enact with our own bodies true harmony, we must let go of the ego. And our Zazen practice gives us the root for this. It gives us the method. Gentle and harmonious. Sometimes we think of gentle and harmonious as surface. And that, I think, is because so many times we paste fake gentle and harmonious onto the top of our anger. Oh, I'm fine. Oh, it's not a problem. It's really syrupy and fake. And this is not true harmony. So you might remember that this true harmony also has a quality of honesty and directness. Honesty and directness. So how can we be gentle and harmonious while also being honest and direct? This is our challenge. And it starts by letting go of the idea of me as separate from you and understanding our interconnectedness. Dogen Zenji taught us in the universal recommendations for Zazen to take the backward step and turn the light within. Eko Hensho. Take the backward step and turn the light within. Pause. Adjust our breath. Step back from our anger, back from our ego, back from our greed, back from ourself. Step back and humbly reflect on our actions. Turn the light within. So let me say a little bit about Eko Hensho. It's a phrase that I love so much I can hardly say it without tearing up. And I know you've heard me talk about it a lot. And I will continue to talk about it until I die, I'm sure. Turning the light within. Turning the light within and illuminating the self. Dogen tells us to walk within the middle way between difference and equality. We should turn the light within and illuminate the self. This is from, as I said, Fukan Zazen here, Universal Recommendations for Zazen. Eko Hensho, to turn the light, return illumination. Shohaku Okamura Roshi discusses this term quite a bit, and I'll use some of his teachings on this. So this description, there are three ways to understand it in the everyday world. One is a description of the sunset just after the sun has sunk below the horizon, and this beautiful glow comes up everywhere. And if you've experienced that, and I think we all have, you know there's an element of mystery in that glow, that in between. It's a kind of a hush of awe comes over everybody during this time. People are outside, their voices get just a little quieter. People might stop and look up the sky and just pause a little bit. This is Eko Hensho. Between day and night, between brightness and darkness. And it's this very, very short period of intense beauty. There are a couple of other connotations that Okamura Rishi talks about. He said one time he asked a Chinese person what it means in their culture, and they told him that it refers to the phenomena when a person is at the end of their life, when they're dying, and they experience this moment of mental clarity, shine. I saw a movie recently. No, it was a show. What did they call that? The Surge. She called it The Surge. I thought that was weird, but I got it too. Because people often have energy. Even I've seen an elderly woman who had Alzheimer's disease for years and was nonverbal sit up and talk to her family during this time. There's like a glow that comes over people, and you can see it. So this is another way of talking about Eko Hensho. A third way is when people who are athletes get that second wind, you know, when you're just really tapped out, and then somehow the endorphins kick in, and you're like there's another chance. So these are all Eko Hensho. So now returning to Okamura Rishi. In speaking of our zazen, Dogen says that we're always chasing after something outside us, saying, I like this, I don't like that. And this is what we do in the daytime. We discriminate, we think, we pick and choose. I like this thing is better than that thing. Or I like this better, this way, do it this way, not that way. That's what we do during the daytime when we work. But in the darkness of night when we sleep, we're free from that kind of discrimination and choosing. I like the free. We're free from that kind of discrimination and choosing. In fact, we need that freedom from discrimination and choosing. We just rest and sleep. Eko Hensho happens between daytime and nighttime, between the time of work and the time of rest. Brightness and darkness signify discrimination and non-discrimination, and Eko Hensho happens between discrimination and non-discrimination. Remember that feeling of magic just after the sun goes down and the glow fills up the whole sky. It's the same at dusk, when your eyes start doing strange things, and if you're in the forest, the animals come out. It's the same at dawn, this peaceful beauty, right when the sun's about to come up and the sky starts to fill with light. This in-between time is Eko Hensho. This is what happens in our zazen. Our zazen is not sleeping, and yet our zazen is not thinking. It's not working based on discrimination. It's like a twilight time with an afterglow. Our work is done, but we're not sleeping. During zazen, we sit exactly in the time of the day when the sun is just set and the world is bright and beautiful. And this is also why we practice zazen at dawn and at dusk. And all day long too, you know. When we work during the daytime, we pick one thing and choose this, throw away another thing. We discriminate and choose. Then this time our light illuminates things that are outside of us. But in zazen, we don't do this. Instead, we turn the light within and illuminate the self. And this is how the expression Eko Hensho is used. Back to Nyūwa. back to the message from Minamizawa Zenji, the head of Soto Zen. Next, he talks a little bit about Keizan Zenji, the other founder of Soto Zen Buddhism. Keizan teaches us that we should always generate thoughts of harmony and reconciliation. The disturbance of harmony is, these are his words, the disturbance of harmony is, throughout all ages, caused by human self-interest and desire, namely greed and ego. It is this greed that is the source of suffering, the root of conflict. This me that comes in. Since this world is impermanent and selfless, the sun and moon shine without personal attachment, illuminating everything. We too wish to engage with all things and all circumstances with the utmost sincerity. By engaging in Zazen, where we can awaken to the Buddha within ourselves, let us pray for and wish for a peaceful and harmonious life for people all across the world, ensuring that no one is left behind. Let us continue to practice the way of the Bodhisattva together. Nyūwa, gentle harmony, the right to live in peace, the dignity of life for all beings, leaving out no one. What more beautiful thing could we hope for, work for in our practice, demonstrate with our bodies by the way we live, with our mouths by the way we talk? As you might recall, Samdong Rinpoche says that if we practice nonviolence with anger or hatred in our hearts, this is not truly nonviolence. Unless you have a compassionate mind and are not influenced by anger and hatred, your mere physical nonviolence is not nonviolence. How do we enact nonviolence? How do we enact a peaceful, a gentle, and harmonious way of being that's honest? This is the key to understanding Nyūwa. Digging in more deeply, not pasted on, but inside out. Engaging with each other, with our own lives, with our Zazen practice, with the utmost sincerity. So if you're sitting, practicing, working, going through life, almost doing it, almost compassionate, thinking about being compassionate, maybe being compassionate, then this is a chance to reevaluate. Because if we're practicing Zazen and our purpose is not waking up for the benefit of all beings, i.e. compassion, then we're not truly practicing. Back to the Lotus Sutra. Those who practice virtuous deeds are gentle, upright, and sincere. Gentle, upright, and sincere. Let's bring this quality of gentle harmony with honesty, with frankness, with directness. Direct, gentle, honest nature. Let's bring this quality to our practice very sincerely, very deeply, from the inside out, for the benefit of all beings. Thank you.